going on, guys? I'm back with another one. I just watched a movie called Saw X, starring Tobin Bell, of course, Shawnee Smith, of course again, and Renata Vaca. Sounds like a drink, like some sort of drink or something. All right, but these names, I can't get through one without the name sounding crazy. First of all, I'm shocked and surprised. That's the same thing. That there is no holiday for senior citizens, all right? They deserve it. They deserve the holiday. I looked it up, and I could be wrong. I could have not looked hard enough, but from what I know, there is no holiday. So I'm dedicating this and calling it Senior Citizen Badasses, all right? Those are the characters in every movie that they're the elders. They're the older ones. They're the ones that taught the main character what he or she knows today. And then there's always that moment when that main character disobeys the rule and something goes wrong every time. It never fails, all right? First one, Norman Nordstrom from Don't Breathe. Yes, I know he's a bad guy in the first one. He's a very sick man, matter of fact. But in part two, he really redeems himself. He gains grandpa status quickly. All right, he protected that girl. He killed for that girl. And yes, it's killing, but it's still protecting. All right, so it counts. Then we have Tangina Barron from Poltergeist. That's the old lady in the movie that talks like this all the time. I'm not doing a perfect impression of her, of course, but that's how she sounds. You can't miss her. You know what I'm talking about. You can't miss her, all right? She was in part 1 and 2, and everything she said in that movie was just, it felt like you knew what she was talking about, all right? She knew about paranormals, and she knew about ghosts and all that other stuff, and you better take heed, or something bad is gonna happen, okay? She did her part very well, and unfortunately, she was not in any other movie but that, weirdly. She seemed like she was going to be one of those icons that just everybody wanted to use her over and over again for their films. But she passed away after like part 2, so she couldn't do all that. But she still gets the badge in my book. All right. Then we have Mr. Sims from Tales from the Hood. Ah, man, this guy is hilarious. He's sort of like he's a black crypt keeper. He's the black crypt keeper, all right? He was the host through this whole movie, and he said some hilarious things. Unfortunately, the hoodlums, I hate to sound older than what I am, but yes, the hoodlums, the gangbangers, did not take heed to what he said, and terrible things happened to them as well. Okay, and he also had a famous line. Yes, I can't say it. He said, oh, yes, all right? And when he said that, I cracked up so hard. I laughed so damn hard at that. Very memorable. Very memorable. He is definitely a senior citizen badass in my book. All right. And then we have Gladys. And you're probably asking, who the hell is that? She's from Legion. And you're probably asking, what movie is that? If you haven't seen Legion, you need to go see that. All right. First of all. Second of all, Gladys was the little old lady in the movie when they were in a diner and that whole demon virus, demon spawn virus started coming around. She was the first one to really get it. Okay. Because I remember her being all sweet and calm. And then she started saying some of the foulest, nastiest stuff just coming out of her mouth. Then after that, she jumps up like some human insect and just starts scrambling all over the wall like a crazy person. So that scene was definitely memorable to me. And yes, no, she wasn't one of those elders that you listen to, of course, but I won't forget that scene. I guarantee you that. All right. Then we have Yoda. And yeah, now I'm getting out of horror. I'm just doing this just for the hell of it. All right, because Yoda definitely deserves the praise. He is the senior citizen badass of the whole Star Wars community. Okay, and he definitely got his shine in one of those prequel movies. Now, I think it's the same one that had Darth Vader become Darth Vader. If that's the truth, then he wasn't the best thing about the movie. But if it wasn't, then he was the best thing about that film. That particular film. Because this dude, all he had to do was wave his hand and people got knocked the hell out. Okay? Total badassery. You cannot deny this. All right? Then, last but not least, we have Pai Mai from Kill Bill 2. This dude was everything you've seen in a kung fu movie came to life. As a sensei, that master with the long beard that would always stroke it when he got mad, that was him. That was him. And he was the one that Bill warned the others about. Like, he doesn't like Americans. He doesn't like Americans. He despises them. So he gave all the American trainees very hard time. Some didn't listen. Some didn't take heed. And they got a really tough lesson. And unfortunately, because he didn't like Americans, it led to his demise. But for the time that he was on the screen, I was highly entertained. All right. And now we have John Kramer. Okay. And his mentorism. And my question is he as good as a mentor as the others I just mentioned? We're about to find out. Let's go. Saw X. For those that don't know, for those that are not aware. First of all, if you're a hardcore Saw fan, then there is no excuse. There is no excuse. You're waiting for everything that comes out about Saw. Because what? Because you're not really, at this point, you're not really about the script anymore or what happens. You're worried about those traps. You want to see that torture. Okay? You don't care if they're doing this at Disneyland. You want to see the torture go down. Okay? So you don't get a pass. But for your regular moviegoers, okay, I can see why you wouldn't care. I can see you saying, okay, I watched the last one for some reason and I'm turned off by this. I understand. And so now every time you see any kind of trailer with X or Saw in it, your mind just turns off into some other dimension, and then you snap back into reality once the trailer's off. I understand, but you're still getting penalized. You're still getting penalized. Saw X. It's pretty much dealing with Saw between part 2 and part 3 and what happened there. And it's the whole thing of John Kramer trying to get something done about the cancer that he has, the brain tumor, the brain cancer that he has. And there's these doctors, they claim that they can fix his problem, and they give him some easy surgery with some remedies behind that. And so he believes them. Goes through all these obstacles, goes to Mexico, everything, and they bamboozle the man. All right, this man gets out of the chair, the office, the operation chair. He goes home. He has a bandage on his head. He decides one day to look at the back of his head. I don't know why he couldn't feel that. And he realizes they did not do a damn thing to me. And he is pissed at this point. All right. So he's ready to rage war on every doctor that operated on him in that room. And that's the premise of the movie. Positives. The torture is back. Yes, this is the moment you've been waiting for. Anybody who's waiting for that moment, this is your movie, okay? This is your movie right here. Last one, it was basically just focusing on Chris Rock's jokes. This one, it really goes in. You get to see the machines come back. John Kramer. There's nothing like John Kramer running those machines, making people go through agony and pain. There are scenes in here where people have to perform brain surgery on themselves. Of course, against their will, but it's insane. It's totally insane. I watch a lot of horror movies, and I still had to squinch and look away at certain scenes in this movie. It's that crazy. It's incredibly, and it's an experience. It's what I've been missing when I watched part 1 and 2 and 3. They brought it back. Let's just say they brought all of that back. Part 1, 2, 3, and 5. 4 and 5. All right. They're back in full effect. That's the whole vibe I got. All right. Another positive. This made me root for John Kramer so hard. All right. Yes, he is an insane person. I understand that. We saw that in the other movies. We know his backstory. We know how he got the cancer, and he was in the accident. He pulled a long metal thing out of his butt, or whatever he pulled it out of, and we felt bad for him. Okay, but no, this is really going to piss you off for him. All right, how low do you have to be to take all these people for a ride who are on their deathbed? And that's the kind of torture he went through. So he went through mental torture. He was already going through physical, slowly. But he's thinking he's healed. And then you find out they did nothing to you. They played you. They played him like a banjo. Oh, I was rooting so hard. I almost wanted to jump up and yell, get him. Get him, John Kramer. Get him. For me. Get all the doctors in that office. Please. It's crazy. I can't believe I felt so much compassion for this psychopath. All right. But I did. Another positive. Amanda is the great trick here. She is one of those characters. I saw it in the trailer and I was already excited about that. So when I saw this in the movies and I saw her enter the scene, it's epic. It's epic. She has this sarcasm about her that even though this is the wrong time to be using sarcasm, she's just perfect at it. These people deserve it. They deserve it. She's like, I don't care what they've been through. I don't care. I've been through stuff. I don't care about these people. They're going to get it. I'm going to give it to them. They want this. They want it. I'm going to bring it to them. She had no remorse. And that's something that John Kramer might have at times, but she did not. And that's why I enjoy every time she steps on the scene, even in the old movies. Okay. Her character was almost always my favorite. As far as his underlings and people that he teaches and all this, she was the most interesting one out of all of that. All right. Man, last positive. The reveal. I can't say what the reveal is, but I can explain it like this. We know the doctors in there. They're all frauds and fakes and stuff like that. But revealing who they really are was crazy. It's unbelievable. It was almost extreme from what they showed in that office, that doctor's office. It was the extreme other side. And I can't explain what it was, of course, because I don't want to give that away. But just seeing what kind of people they were outside of that doctor's office was almost disgusting. All right. In a perfect way. I just couldn't believe it. I was like, these people, wasn't this just a sweet girl? Now it's this, and that's what that person was. It's such a 360, a complete 360 that it's like I'm at a loss for words right now. It leave you at a loss for words. It really will. It really will. I really can't say. I really can't say just what kind of people they turn out to be. But you could just imagine. All right? Just imagine. You might not even get close to what they were, but just still try anyways, okay? Negatives. What happened to a certain character in the movie? Of course, I cannot explain exactly who this person is, but I can tell you this. This person was one of these people that I'm talking about. They managed to survive. All right. So we know when somebody survives his traps, they are then, just kind of nominated into his underling, right? That did not happen in this. That didn't happen this time. It was a complete mystery. They kind of just showed this person survive it, and then we never heard from this person ever again throughout the entire film. And I was just sitting there scratching my head like, why did you leave us hanging like this? That's a flaw. That's something that I realized and I noticed. Unless there's going to be a continuation of this, and that's weird because this is between 2 and 3. So what else can you bring from this? So now I'm wondering, will there be more movies to go behind this? That's the only way that they can explain this. Because other than that, you just missed over a huge loose end. And John Kramer don't have loose ends. I know he doesn't have loose ends in his little tales, okay? His little sick tales. He doesn't have loose ends. So that was a definite flaw in the film that I noticed, all right? Another negative. Amanda disobeyed one of his rules, and he let it slide. Now we know John Kramer doesn't play that. That's not his style. He told her to kill a certain person first. Torture. He doesn't call it that. He calls it giving them a choice or whatever, but we call it torture, and it's eventually killing. Give them a choice first, that certain person. But because for some reason she wanted to spare that person. I'm not going to say why, but she felt some kind of compassion for that person for some reason. And she went to the other person when she came out and tortured them. And John Kramer never mentioned it or brought it up any other time. And at all, actually. There's no time he brought it up. He never even said anything. Now, I'm trying to wonder if I missed anything in the movie or not, but that's just not how John Kramer rolls. I think they really laughed over that whole situation. That's a huge mistake. That's a huge mistake. He doesn't make mistakes like that, okay? So it was very odd that he let her do what the hell she wanted to do for those few minutes, and just kind of all of a sudden just kind of turn the plan around, and I'm gonna torture this other person because I'm cool with this other person, I can see stuff like that. I'm not gonna say what's going on, but yeah, I like this other person, so I'm not gonna torture this person first. That was weird. That was so odd. Okay, when did she get choices like this? Come on, man. Come on, Kramer. Your pimp hand is getting weak. Your pimp hand was weak between 2 and 3 for a couple of seconds. All right. Last negative. The ending got a little corny. All right. It got a little cheesy. All right. There were things that were going on at the end that just it took me out of the movie. And not in a good way. It took me out of the movie. It turned into a soap opera. It got a little too over dramatic to the point where it was cheesy. And you capture certain people, and then certain things happen, and then all of a sudden these certain people that you captured turn into a whole other person. A whole other person that is able to do this now. They're able to do that. They're capable of this and that. No, come on now. And then the very end the very end baffled me. The very end, it made it seem like it was a happily ever after. And then he left another loose end, which I can't mention again. Okay, I can't mention that, but he left another loose end in the movie at the end, as everybody like they were walking into the sunset or whatever the hell. I'm not saying any more than that, but it's like one of those endings, and that's not the typical Saw ending to a movie. So that was so odd that they would do that. It was almost like a twisted Disney movie or something. Like, birds should have started coming out chirping and all this other crap if you're gonna do something like that. But we know that's not a Saw style of this film. So why would you end the movie like that? It didn't make any sense. It didn't make any sense at all. And I think they just ran out of ideas towards the end, or they just didn't know how to end it for something. But it was doing good up until the end, and then all of a sudden we got this and that and this, and oh, hold on, but you didn't know about this and this and this, and the shocking surprises and everything else that I was not ready for. It was just, it's unnecessary. It was completely unnecessary, honestly. But I'm still giving this a hell yes. Yes, I'm gonna hell yes. You can see I was struggling to say anything negative about this, okay? I'm being honest. I had a hard time finding negatives about this, but those were some solid negatives, okay? I'd say the last Saw did the whole franchise no justice, and it kind of probably backed everybody away from even seeing another Saw movie ever again. If you did, don't give up. Please see this movie. Please see this movie. Don't give up on this. Chris Rock fumbled hard. I don't know what Chris Rock was thinking, but it wasn't. He wasn't in his right mind. All right. This is the one. This might bring the franchise back, or it might end it in a perfect way. Either way, I need you to like, share, subscribe.